I'm telling you, if that thing's gone, I will never forgive you.
Well, maybe if you'll let me in on what you're actually looking for, I could help you.
Hey, Jack! Come here.
Yeah.
Great.
Isn't she awesome?
Well, I'd have come along with you guys if only you'd
Imagine
asked.
standing in the middle of the ranch at sunset, the sky burning orange, the wind quiet, and the world holding its breath. You suddenly realize the person you love most might slip away from you, just like before. That is the fear Amy is about to face in the Heartland Season 19 finale, a fear she thought she had buried forever. And everything started with one moment in Episode 9. A moment that changed the course of the entire season. Georgie's return to Heartland felt like a wave of nostalgia washing over the entire ranch. It had been so long since we last saw her, and even though she walked in with her usual confidence, something felt different the moment she stepped out of the truck. Peter was the first one to bring her home, saying she was only in town for a show. But the real story was hidden behind her smile, a smile that didn't reach her eyes. She tried hard to look strong, but the truth was waiting just under the surface. Ready to break through, everyone was shocked to learn that Georgie and Quinn had ended their relationship. At first, she brushed it off, saying she was totally fine. She claimed she was the one who ended things, and that it wasn't a big deal. But you could see her shoulders drop when she sat alone for a moment at the Dude Ranch. You could see the way her face softened, as if admitting the truth silently to herself. The breakup wasn't simple at all. It hurt. And even worse, Quinn wasn't handling it well either, which only added more guilt and pressure on Georgie. Peter, surprisingly, stepped in as the emotional guide she didn't know she needed. It was almost funny, watching this man who had once been stubborn and closed off now quoting relationship podcasts like he was a certified expert. But his effort mattered. He sat beside her, gave her space to talk, and reminded her that heartbreak is not a sign of weakness. Katie wandered in later, and that is when Georgie truly cracked. She admitted she wasn't okay. She admitted her heart was heavier than she could handle. That simple confession made her feel more human, more real, more vulnerable than we have seen her in a long time. Her return wasn't just a nostalgic moment. It was the beginning of a bigger emotional shift. Georgie's heartbreak became the first sign that this season would not end quietly. It showed us how fragile love can be, how quickly it can slip through your fingers, and how strong someone must be to keep moving forward even when their heart feels bruised. And without knowing it, Georgie's pain would mirror something much bigger happening in Amy's life, something that is about to test her strength like never before. Trouble always seems to arrive quietly in Heartland, like a shadow slipping through the barn doors. But this time, the danger didn't sneak in, it crashed into the ranch with force. The rustlers had already stolen cattle before, but in Episode 9, everything changed. Their actions crossed a line, turning the entire ranch from a peaceful home into a place filled with worry, tension, and the feeling that something bad was coming. Lou and Jack's determination to stop the thieves grew stronger with each missing animal. What started as a simple mystery became a serious threat to the ranch. The morning they discovered the trail camera had been destroyed, you could almost feel the fear settle into Lou's voice. She tried to stay practical, listing solutions, adjusting camera angles, checking gates. But deep down, she knew they were losing control of the situation, and losing cattle meant losing time, money, and peace of mind. Jack, on the other hand, carried the weight differently. When he saw the damage the rustlers caused, something inside him changed. This wasn't just theft anymore. It was personal. Heartland was his life's work, the legacy he protected with every breath. So when the night fell and the sky turned black, Jack didn't go to sleep. He grabbed his gun and stepped out into the cold air, ready to face whatever danger was hiding beyond the fences. Lou eventually noticed the lights were still on, the house still awake, and went outside. What she found was her grandfather standing guard like a soldier. She tried to convince him to come inside to rest, but Jack's eyes were firm. You could see the old cowboy in him, the man who had lived through storms far worse than this. That moment, with both of them standing under the moonlight, said more than words ever could. Fear was there, but so was bravery. Then came the sound, a sharp noise cutting through the quiet night. They ran toward it, hearts pounding. Lou's breath shook as she followed Jack, hoping they were finally close to catching the people behind all the chaos. What they found was Wes, cutting through the fence like he owned the place. Jack didn't recognize him at first, but before they could stop him, another man appeared, knocking Jack to the ground so fast Lou didn't even have time to scream. Everything happened in seconds, but the impact would be felt for much longer. The rustlers fled, the night swallowed them, and Jack was left stunned and bruised. But Lou managed to grab one thing: the license plate number. It wasn't a victory, but it was a clue. A small bridge between confusion and the truth they were desperate to find. Some moments in Heartland don't explode with noise, they quietly shift the ground beneath the characters, changing everything in ways no one expects. Amy's storyline in episode 9 is exactly that. It begins simply, with her working Gracie's troubled horse in an open field, but it ends with a truth hidden for years inside Marion's journals, waiting to be discovered. This is the moment when Amy steps into her mother's shadow, not to be compared to her, but to understand her in a way she never had before. Gracie arrives at the ranch already holding more anger than she knows what to do with. She watches Amy training the horse and tries to hide the judgment in her eyes, but it still escapes through her tone. She claims she wants to help, but the tension is clear from the start. Gracie wants to rush the process, forcing the halter on before the horse is ready, ignoring Amy's calm warnings. It becomes obvious very quickly that this horse is not the only thing Gracie is struggling to control. Her patience, her feelings, and her pride are all slipping at once. When Gracie mentions that Marian once mentored her, everything inside Amy stops for a moment. Marian was not just her mother. She was the gold standard of heart, patience, and skill. Hearing that Gracie had been under Marion's guidance sparks a curiosity Amy cannot ignore. She goes back to Marion's journals, sitting beside Lindy, flipping through pages filled with lessons, memories, and stories that shaped the woman Amy grew up idolizing. And then she finds the journal entry that changes everything. The words reveal a past Gracie never wanted anyone to know, a moment where she lost control and used to whip on a horse. A choice she regretted so deeply that it pushed her away from her dreams. But the real shock wasn't the action itself. It was Marion's reaction. Gracie had spent years believing Marion told others that she was judged, that her mistake defined her. But Marion never said a word. Instead, she blamed herself for not giving Gracie the support she needed. She carried that guilt quietly, protecting Gracie even when Gracie didn't know. Amy shares this truth with a gentle honesty only she can offer. Gracie breaks, not out of weakness, but because the truth is finally lighter than the lie she carried for so long. She almost leaves, crushed by shame, but Amy reaches her in that quiet, powerful way she has always had, by seeing the good in someone even when they can't see it themselves. This storyline isn't about the horse alone. It's about forgiveness. It's about the pain of believing you're unforgivable. It's about understanding that the people who guide us, even after they're gone, can still heal us through the truth they left behind. Marion's journals didn't just reveal Gracie's past. They gave Amy a deeper understanding of her mother and showed Gracie that her story wasn't over. It was just waiting for the right hands, Amy's hands, to guide it forward. Teenage emotions always feel louder than the world around them. They move fast, they hit hard, and they turn the simplest moment into something unforgettable. That's exactly what happens with Katie, Dex, and River in episode 9, a storyline that starts with a simple practice session but quickly spirals into jealousy, anger, and one of the most intense teen blow-ups Heartland has seen in years. Katie walks into the routine practice expecting a normal day. She and River were supposed to focus on their flag girl performance, but neither of them could keep their mind on the music. River kept stealing glances at Dex. Dex kept pretending not to notice him but failed miserably. And Katie, caught in the middle, could feel her entire mood shift like a storm rolling in. It wasn't just awkward. It was painful. She didn't want to admit she liked Dex, not even to herself. But every moment she watched River and Dex flirt made her chest tighten a little more. The tension snaps when Dex's old friend, the one responsible for the accident that ended Dex's hockey future, shows up. This boy carries guilt in his eyes, and you can tell he didn't come to pick a fight. He just wants forgiveness. But Dex isn't ready for that. The last thing he wants is to face the person who shattered the dream he had trained for his whole life. His hands shake, his voice cracks, and when the boy apologizes, Dex responds with a punch. A hard one. A punch fueled not by hate, but by pain he never learned to express. Jack sees the fight and steps in immediately. His disappointment hits Dex harder than any punch could. Jack fires him again, sending Dex spiraling deeper into frustration and embarrassment. Katie watches everything, torn between anger and concern. Part of her wants to walk away. The other part wants to go to him. But she does neither. Instead, she stays frozen, stuck in the middle of emotions she doesn't understand yet. River, however, sees more clearly than she does. He tells Katie that Dex isn't just reacting out of anger, he's drowning. The accident ruined his future, his confidence, and his sense of who he was supposed to be. Dex isn't dramatic for attention. He's hurting because he still hasn't forgiven himself for what he lost. That simple reminder softens something in Katie. She finally admits the truth to herself. She likes Dex. She cares about him more than she planned to. Katie tries to apologize, a small moment that should have been simple, but nothing goes smoothly when feelings are involved. Dex is upset, confused, and unable to calm down long enough to hear her out. Their conversation stumbles, breaks, and falls apart entirely. But even in that messy moment, something important is revealed. Katie's feelings aren't going away, and Dex's walls are starting to crack. Their path is messy, but real growth always is. This storyline may seem like teenage drama, but it adds something powerful to the season. The reminder that heartbreak, confusion, and longing don't only belong to adults. Young hearts struggle too, and sometimes their battles are the ones that change them the most. There are moments in Heartland when you can feel the air shift, as if the ranch itself knows something is about to change. That feeling becomes unmistakable in the final minutes of episode 9. After all the fear, the stolen cattle, the damaged fences, and the dead-end conversations with law enforcement, Jack, Lou, and Nathan make a choice that will shape the entire season finale. They decide to stop waiting. They decide to act. It begins the moment Lou receives the license plate information from Lisa's PI. It's a tiny piece of data, just a set of numbers, but to the family, it's the first real thread they can pull. The police don't help, too busy, too distracted, too uninterested in a rural case involving a ranch they don't truly understand. But Heartland has never needed permission to protect itself. And now, with real danger harming their animals, threatening their livelihood, and putting their family on edge, they realize no one is coming to save them. They must save themselves. Jack saddles his horse with the kind of focus only a man with decades of ranch life behind him can carry. Lou's movements are quick, sharp, fueled by the determination of someone who has reached her limit. And Nathan, new to the family's rhythm but already deeply connected, doesn't hesitate to join them. This trio carries something powerful: experience, leadership, and quiet bravery. Together, they form a force that feels unstoppable. As they ride out, the scene changes. The soft golden light that usually fills Heartland is replaced by a darker, heavier tone. The wind pushes against them, as if warning them to turn back. But they continue anyway. The rustlers aren't just thieves anymore, they're a threat that has hurt Jack, stressed Lou, and shaken the ranch. Tracking them means stepping into unknown territory, a place where violence and desperation mix. But none of them stop to question it. Protecting Heartland comes before fear. Nathan, especially, carries a weight viewers can feel even without him saying a word. His past in the competition world taught him discipline and courage, but this situation is new. This isn't about trophies or rankings. This is about protecting the woman he cares for, the ranch he's starting to call home, and the people who have accepted him. His presence in this moment is the first clue that he will play a bigger role in the finale than anyone expects. The sound of hooves thunders across the land as the three of them disappear into the distance. There is no music, no dramatic speech, no last-minute hesitation. Just the raw determination of people who refuse to let their world fall apart. And what they don't know, what none of them can predict, is that this ride will lead them directly into danger. It will put Nathan at risk. It will push Amy into emotional territory she hoped she would never face again. And it will set the stage for a finale that changes the heart of Heartland. For there are certain fears that never fully disappear, even when years pass and life seems calm again. For Amy, that fear has a name, a face, and a memory wrapped in heartbreak. She lost her soulmate once, in the most sudden and painful way imaginable. And even though she has learned to live with that loss, it left a shadow inside her of fear that love can be taken without warning. In the season 19 finale, that shadow returns, and it hits her harder than she ever expected. While Jack, Lou, and Nathan ride out searching for the rustlers, Amy feels something she cannot explain. It's not panic, but a deep, uneasy feeling in her chest to sense that the day is turning toward danger. The ranch feels too quiet. The air feels too still. And every time she glances at the horizon, her heart whispers a warning she doesn't want to hear. She tries to focus on the horses, on Lindy, on anything that keeps her grounded. But her mind keeps drifting back to Nathan, hoping he's safe, hoping nothing goes wrong. When news reaches her that things have taken a dangerous turn, everything inside her collapses at once. The color drains from the world. Her breath stops, and for a second, she is no longer standing in the present. She is pulled back into the memory of losing Ty, of the call, of the shock, of the grief that swallowed her whole. It doesn't matter that Nathan is strong, or brave, or capable. Trauma rewires the heart. It makes fear feel like truth. And in that moment, Amy believes she might lose someone she cares about deeply all over again, but there is something different this time, something she didn't have when she lost Ty. Amy isn't alone. The family surrounds her, quietly supporting her, helping her keep calm, holding the pieces of her together when her fear tries to break her apart. Lindy stays close, reminding her that love is worth fighting for, even when it hurts. And when Nathan is finally brought back injured, shaken, but alive, Amy's world shifts again, not into fear this time, but into clarity. Seeing him hurt makes her realize the truth she has been avoiding all season. She loves him, not as a replacement, not as a second chance, but as the man who walked into her life with kindness, patience, and a heart she didn't expect to open hers again. She sees the way he looks at her even through the pain. She hears the words he tries to say before he loses strength. And in that moment, the fear of losing him becomes the doorway to understanding how much he means to her. The rumors say Nathan may propose after this moment, shaken by how close he came to losing everything. Whether the proposal happens now or later, the finale makes one thing clear: Amy is finally ready to choose love again. Not because time healed her perfectly, but because she learned that healing doesn't erase fear, it teaches you to walk through it. Season 19 ends not with an ending, but with a beginning. A new love, a new chapter, a new chance for Amy to let her heart believe in something beautiful again.